You've been there, right? You buy something with amazing 5-star reviews and it turns out to be, well, total junk. We've all been burned. But get this, the whole wild west of online reviews, it's finally getting a sheriff. The rules are changing big time, and you're gonna want to hear this. So let's say you're hunting for a new air fryer. You find one and wow, it looks perfect. Thousands of glowing 5-star reviews. You hit buy now, feeling pretty good about it. But how do you really know if those reviews are legit? Are they real people or are they just fake?
Well, this whole problem has a name. It's called review deception. And it's the shady behind-the-scenes world where businesses use all kinds of tricks to make their stuff look way better than it is. And look, it's not just annoying, it's a massive problem that costs people like you and me real money.
But that's all about to change. The federal government is finally stepping in, and they've written a whole new rulebook to fight back. The group in charge here is the Federal Trade Commission. You've probably heard of them, the FTC. And with this new rule, they're basically putting on a sheriff's badge for the entire online shopping world, and they're ready to crack down on anyone playing dirty. And this isn't some idea that's years away. No, this is happening now. The new rule officially kicks in on October 21st, 2024, and it's going to completely change how online reviews work. And you know, the FTC is not playing games here. We are talking about some serious fines, up to $51,744. And get this, that's per violation. That's a huge incentive for companies to finally start being honest.
So what's actually in this new rulebook? Well, let's break down the 3 biggest things that are now banned, starting with the most obvious one, completely fake and paid-for reviews.
So, with this new rule, it is now flat out illegal for a business to just make up reviews from people who don't even exist. Or, use a review from someone who's never even touched the product. This also means they can't pay someone for a good review or pay them to trash a competitor. The key here is that any review that seriously misrepresents what a real user experienced is now against the law. Just think about, those influencer posts you see for some health supplement. If that influencer was paid to call it a miracle product, but never even opened the bottle, yeah, under the new rule, that's illegal. That's exactly the kind of fake hype they're trying to shut down. But it's not just about stopping fake good reviews. The new rule also takes a hard look at what companies are doing with the real and sometimes really negative ones. From now on, businesses can't bully you into taking down a bad review. So no more threatening emails or empty legal threats just to shut you up. And they can't cherry pick anymore either. Creating this perfect little fantasy world where they only show you the 4- and 5-star reviews while all the 1-star warnings are conveniently gone. I mean, this is such a classic move, right? A product page shows this mountain of 5-star reviews, but what you don't see is that they've buried a ton of 1-star reviews. This whole practice of hiding the bad stuff, it's now officially illegal. And finally, the third big area of this crackdown goes after deception, coming from inside the company itself, and all those fake numbers we see on social media.
Okay, so now if the CEO or an employee or even their cousin writes a review, they have to tell you. They must clearly disclose their relationship. No more pretending to be some random happy customer. The rule also tackles social media, banning companies from buying fake followers or fake views just to make a product seem more popular than it actually is.
So this all sounds pretty great. The FTC has covered fake reviews, hidden reviews, insider reviews. But hold on, there is one really deceptive practice that kind of slipped through the cracks on this one. So what's the loophole?
All right, so here's the deal. Making up a fake review out of thin air, now illegal. But what is not covered yet is something called review hijacking. This is when a seller takes a bunch of real, positive reviews from an old, popular product and just slaps them onto a brand new, totally different one. The FTC thought about banning this, but for now it's a loophole, probably because it's just so hard to track and prove. So with all these new rules in place and keeping that one loophole in mind, what does online shopping actually look like for you now?
Let's circle all the way back to that air fryer. After October 21st, when you're shopping online, things should feel different. The game has changed, and honestly, you have a lot more power as a shopper. Here's what you should look for. First, disclosures. If an employee writes a review, it has to be labeled. Second, seeing a mix of good and bad reviews is actually a great sign. It probably means the company isn't hiding anything. And finally, just be a little suspicious of those reviews that are way too generic and sound a little too perfect.
Really, the bottom line is this. No system's going to be perfect, but you can definitely shop with a lot more confidence now. The star ratings and the reviews you're reading are legally supposed to be a much more honest picture of reality. Look, this is a huge step toward cleaning up the internet. But it does leave us with a big question. Will this new rulebook actually restore our trust? Or is this just the start of a whole new cat and mouse game between the good guys and the people trying to cheat the system? I guess only time will tell.